Hey Harry Potter fans, Peter Kenneth here. Welcome to the Potter Collector channel and the Harry Potter store in New York City, specifically the House of MinaLima. Today I'm very excited to be joined by Mira and Eduardo Lima, aka MinaLima, who are the graphic designers for the Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts films. Now they're not here yet. Apparating from London to New York takes a little longer than usual. Now the design duo just released a new book called The Magic of MinaLima, which takes us on a journey of all of their Wizarding World designs. Now one of the things I'm most excited— Hey, you're here!
Oh!
Welcome to New York! So are you excited to meet MinaLima?
I am so excited. I'm so excited! I'm super excited. I've never gotten to come to an event like this. Super excited. I've been looking forward to this the past month.
It's pretty cool because we see their face all the time, like just in the room and just see all of their work. Getting to see them here, like I feel like it's a full circle moment.
I cannot wait to ask them questions. I hope they answer some of my questions. So the second they just posted that, I'm like, wait, I have to do this. So excited. Go read it if you haven't, go buy it if you haven't. But I think it's an amazing thing that they're here and to see and meet everyone. I cannot wait to see you guys. Bye!
You have the chance to win a copy of The Magic of MinaLima, signed and dedicated by MinaLima to the winner of this giveaway. For information on how to enter the giveaway, see the description down below. In order to be entered in this giveaway, you will also have to find and submit the answer that Mira and Eduardo gave to a question that was asked of them in this interview. And that question is, what is your favorite prop? So first off, I want to say thank you for the amount of detail that's in this book. I'm someone who appreciates detail, and it's packed, so thank you for that.
You're welcome. We kind of don't really know how to not do detail. It's our story, so it seemed the best place to do it.
When you put all your work together, oh, that doesn't look that much. And
it's a lot. It's heavy.
Yeah, and you have to remember that every single little prop, every single little label took us hours or days to do it.
In your new book, there is a foreword from David Yates, which is very, very cool. And he says that one of the meetings he's most excited to have when he works on a Wizarding World film is with the two of you. Can you give us a little inside look about what happens during those meetings?
Well, for us, it's also one of the key kinds of meetings that we need to have, because quite often a lot of the character development and stuff we don't know from a script. A script is very much about actions and dialogue. For us, since our role is about telling the backstory through graphics and layers of detail, often we need to get that from the director, because he might have, for example, if we're doing something for Snape, we might need to understand a little bit more about some bits of character and personality that they have developed through the rehearsals and so on. So for us it's really important to have that dialogue with the director and not just be enclosed in a design world.
But before he comes for this meeting, we decorated the room entirely with loads of reference material, like from magazines and anything that is related to the time or to the plot of the story. And in his eyes, when he arrives, he's like, oh wow. And I remember really about on Fantastic Beasts as well, on the first one. You remember me on our department, there were loads of references of New York, but all black and white pictures.
Okay.
Because that's all there was.
Okay.
Yeah. So when he entered to our room, that we found all the other references in color, like for the books and the magazines and the drawings, illustrations. And he said, oh my god, of course, 1920, it's colorful.
Yeah. You think old New York and you think of black and white photos. Yeah, of course there was color. No, we didn't create color.
It was very bright, but
interesting.
Colorful, The meetings we have with him is fantastic, because as Mira said, and also we need to get so much more details about, especially the characters, how we can enrich the environments and the background stories.
So it all started with a letter for both of you. For you, this one right here,
yes, that little thing
Harry's
there.
acceptance letter. That was your first task. And for Eduardo, you sent a letter to Mira asking to talk about graphic design. Do you still have those two letters?
We do, which is why, they suddenly 20 years is just, it's like a spell, like we've evaporated from there to now. It was great in the book being able to have the opportunity to share that little moment, because
that was so cool.
We'd almost forgotten, and then, it's like you get nostalgic and think about how it was that because people often ask, how did you meet? So we thought, well, let's put it in a playful way in the book. And you'll see as you unravel it that also we bring in some of the play that you would have on a film, and how we would interpret a script if we had. So every note on that is exactly how if that was a scene in the film, we would have to.
So we kind of recreated the scene when I first went to see Mira at Leaves in Studios, and that is all our scripts from Harry Potter to Fantastic Beasts. They are all annotated
like this. Okay.
And then when you get to the end, there's a cheeky kind of meta jump to the present.
It's so fun. It's so fun. No, I loved this. I loved seeing this.
But when I sent the letter, I sent like with completely not expecting that nothing would happen, because we know that working in films is so hard to get into, and I just sent the letter, said, Mira, I met your friend in Brazil and she gave me your contact. Can I come and talk to you? Can you just to guide me how I can find work in the film industry? It's written a letter as well. She said, I'm going to start Harry Potter 2 in a while and come and see me, but in the meantime she gave me like another 50 people to contact. I didn't contact them. They said, there is something about this lady.
You did,
No, I think the way you replied the letter to me was so nice and so generous, and they said, I might be even more prepared to have to contact those people. And I met Mira in her little office with Stephanie Macmillan, the other set decorator, and there was some kind of sparkle that happened there.
Yeah, you mentioned in your book that you felt like you knew each other on the first meeting.
Yeah, we sort of joke sometimes when we find, because we use a lot of historical references in our work, and sometimes we get really geeky and excited by a poster or something when we're doing research for a film, and sometimes we'll dwell on something and go, do you remember when we made that in the 16th century when there was no lighting? It was a really arduous winter. Do you remember the blisters on our hands? But we've moved along a bit.
We've come a long way since then.
So we kind of have a little fantasy that this is just the now, but there was a whole load of other stuff before.
Yeah. Are your real names Mina and Lima?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That's amazing. So it literally was meant to be.
Yes, and it seems strange now because we're very happy that the marriage of the names has worked.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't believe that it took about 9 months to try and come up with all sorts of other names for our company.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then someone went, have you noticed that your name's kind of
Lima. Yeah, Mina Smith or, Jones Lima just doesn't have the same ring to it, So, Mira, can you tell me how you became the graphic designer for Philosopher's Stone?
Well, everyone's freelance on film productions, and so it's a bit of a kind of jostle, because whoever you've been working with previously tends to kind of keep their crew together. So I was very lucky to be working with Stuart Craig, the brilliant production designer for all of the Harry Potter films, but I'd been working with him on previous productions, and Harry Potter was his next film, and so he took his crew. He said, it might be like 4 or 6 months work, let's just see how it goes. I don't think anyone really kind of understood.
I love that.
Yes.
4 months.
Yeah. So there was no real sort of like promise of 10 years or even a year. So we were all just trying to do our best for that particular project, like you do on any project. And so that whole question of like, was it luck or was it work? I think it was probably a little bit of both, but I guess those of us that were working with him was because we were really kind of loyal and loved working for Stuart. So I was more grateful to be continuing that relationship, and then it was only later I realised that this was something really powerful and an invitation to be as creative as you might ever be able to be in film.
So, Eduardo, were you a Harry Potter fan before meeting with Mira?
I have to confess, no, I didn't even know anything about Harry Potter.
One did, I think, of our generation.
Yeah, I was.
It was much a younger readership.
Okay.
So, if you were like in your 30s, early 30s, you might not know of it in 2000, 2001.
So when I moved to the UK in 2001, I was 26. When Mira replied to my letter, I said, okay, I needed to do my research now. I read the book and I read the second book. I kind of fall in love. But there's no way working in Harry Potter and not becoming a fan. No, there's no way. You have to, because it's so fantastic, incredible, the world that was being created in front of us. Yeah. And we were helping.
Yeah. J.K. Rowling wrote the Wizarding World. You guys created all of the visuals. What are you thinking or feeling?
I mean, I mean,
most of the visuals, at least.
Yeah, I think we still see it as being part of a much bigger,
absolutely.
Creative team,
and
and the privilege that we get and other graphic designers get on films, especially period films or fantasy films, is that we're kind of putting the top layer on, so the cake and the flavors and the ingredients are already brilliant inside, and then we get to do the top layer. As we said before, I think it was a real privilege to be involved in something that has such legacy and is so meaningful for so many people, because obviously designers want to work on things that are interesting for them creatively, but when you then start to meet the audience, which we never normally do on films, but Harry Potter has enabled us to do that, you start to understand that actually it's been so significant as a sort of piece of popular culture, not just a film here and there, but just it's changed some people's lives, and I think that's really unusual.
But also the great thing, as Mira said, about graphic designs for film, especially on a film like Harry Potter, like the things that we were in charge of are things that people are familiar with. The books. Everyone goes to school. Everyone has to have the book, and a letter. Everyone normally receive at that time. People still receive letters. No one receives letters anymore. But like the packaging, the sweets, all of that stuff. So it's things that people are much more familiar than a beautiful set or castle or whatever. No, not saying that that's not important, but we were doing the things that people are
easy to relate to.
I understand that. That's a book. I know.
So which prop that each of you worked on was the first one to show up on screen? It was this was it?
Yeah, that was literally the first thing that I think I did on the first Harry Potter film, and then together with, I think, the confectionery for the train sequence, which has now also become quite known. And I guess for you, it's probably the Daily Prophet.
Because I started on the second film as a work experience. No, I got a week work experience.
Did it all in a week?
Become 3, become 4. No, and I never left. And so everyone, if you have an opportunity to do a work experience for a film or project, take it, because 20 years later, I'm here now talking about that. So yes, it was the Daily Prophet,
And actually, that's a good question, because quite often the role of graphic designer is to create this world that we were saying, to have the top layer, but almost for it to not be obvious. So maybe if it's like a World War II film, there'll be lots of posters and menus and newspapers, but it serves to support the story rather than actually almost be, like some of the props we designed got to almost be a character in the film. So the Daily Prophet was was a really useful tool to advance the story at various points. So I think those are privileges for designers to get to design things that are such contributors to the story.
But I remember I think that the first thing that you might see in the film is the Daily Prophet, but the first prop I worked on was the pumpkin juice bottle with the pumpkin on top and the label. Yeah, I remember.
Strange stuff.
You
get like, what do you do at work today?
I created a pumpkin juice bottle. So what were you thinking or feeling when you saw it on the screen for the first time?
I mean, we love going to see the film when it comes out, but it literally is. It's gone.
Oh, okay.
Or worse still. Oh my god, I can see the white edge on that chocolate
things that only us two can see.
Why didn't I colour that in?
And sometimes quite annoying, like things that you did like in 10 minutes has like a massive screen time, and things that you spend like 3 months. It's got. Or it's just
okay. Your new book is packed with magic, as I mentioned, and detail. I haven't gotten through the whole thing yet. Can you tell us a little bit about the creation of it and the journey that it takes readers on?
We wanted this to be a celebration of having worked together for 20 years on the Wizarding World, and it just, as I said, it kind of flew by, and it seemed that we should be celebrating that. So the personality of the book is very much that we want it to be almost like a family album. So I personally really enjoy the bits that kind of speak to us as people rather than just showing the props. But when we do show the workings, we want to also reveal some of the sketches that perhaps went into, say, the monolith map or some of the insignia, and so we've sort of scraped through our sketchbooks to find some of the thinking really that went behind things. So it's not a deeply technical book in that respect, but it's more like a sort of dive into our heads, both in terms of design, but also just the joy that we had of working together. And I really hope that the book kind of expresses that as well, that even to the extent that, we've got cheeky little
No, I love that.
drawing in the...
No, that's interesting that you say a photo album. It is very much like a photo album.
Salute. Because, along with all the hours spent designing, we were also spending a lot of hours just
being together,
and having fun. And there's no point in doing this work without it being joyful as well.
Yeah.
So I hope that the book also brings smiles.
So we, as Mira said, we try to put like sketches and things that didn't, like workings that
Didn't
before,
quite make it into
and options of things. But I also know, Mira, this is a book to celebrate as well the amazing team that we had throughout our 20 years. It's not just me and Mira doing everything. We needed to also now say thank you to the amazing assistants that we had in the film and the amazing 20 designers that we have now at MinaLima.
Wow, 22.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yes, because this book it starts with the work on the films, but it also shows our involvement in the wizarding world in general, so the theme parks, publishing, marketing, anywhere where we've been brought in to kind of help shape the wizarding world visually. So the three volumes that are inside it kind of separated in that way. So hopefully people can see that we're like an octopus, like a wizarding world.
Your tentacles everywhere.
Yeah.
You recently announced that you are working on the illustrated edition of Prisoner of Azkaban. Can you give us any little detail or spoiler or sneak peek?
Just to confirm, it's coming out next year.
Okay, that's about it. Right. I had to try.
All I can say is that I don't think, and if I can say this like objectively without being involved, that it will not disappoint, because it seems like it's getting more, like the stories do, richer and richer and more detailed. And we have this strange mantra thing when we're going through work together, because there's a whole team involved, brilliant team of illustrators, and sometimes when you get to a really great illustration, you're like, can you hear that illustration, or can you smell that, or can you? So we always try and think, well, how else? If it's moving you sort of emotionally and stimulating different senses, then you've sort of achieved it. So I think that people are going to enjoy really like spending a long time dwelling on one illustration, because they'll be able to go in and let us know. So that's all I can say.
Feel the cold of the Dementors,
exactly,
and taste the chocolate Lupin gives to Harry.
Yes.
So Harry Potter New York is your fourth location. You have locations in London and Osaka, Japan, and South Korea. Are you planning to open any future stores elsewhere?
We are planning, yes.
Okay.
So it's exciting, and everyone has its own little personality, and if we can keep working on that, and again bringing more smiles, that's the goal.
And also it's making us feel much more confident, because of the shop in London. We receive people from all across the world, and everyone says, "What about Italy? What about Spain? What about Brazil? What about Mexico?"
That was not a spoiler.
No, I'm not spoiling. No, I'm not saying there's nothing confirmed yet. But like that, the idea, yes, is we need to go everywhere.
That's awesome. That's very fun. That'll make a lot of fans happy, I think.
And intrigued.
Yes, and intrigued. Happy and intrigued. So a few of your fans have sent in videos asking questions.
Fantastic.
So first one is from JJ.
Oh, we can watch it.
Yeah.
Hi, JJ.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Mira and Lima. My name is JJ, and my question today for you is, do you always agree or see eye to eye on a design? How do you compromise when you disagree?
Oh.
Wow.
I know, I was impressed with that question.
Again, it's going to look a bit like too nice and
Romantic.
We hardly disagree.
You sort of pick your battles, and if you, after all this time, you get to know what's going to be the sort of a delicate point or not, then you just kind of navigate. And we share such, the important values in life we share, so it's very easy to kind of then spend our days together without having any conflict. And in terms of design, which I guess is what JJ was talking about, we again share the same opinions about what should be right, and it's usually about encouraging the other person to sort of come around to your vision rather than fighting against it.
So Harry Potter was my first proper work doing graphics. So Mira was kind of mentoring me as well.
Do I still tell you what to do?
No, but you never really told me what to do, but you were like teaching me.
And I don't think that any of this would have happened had the relationship not been really solid.
Okay.
But also our styles were a bit different. I think now we kind of have more merged one, because I always like to do everything very busy, and I hate leaving like white space. I wanted to cover every single thing. And Mira, no, sometimes we were much more like one flower, one piece is fine, you don't need it to fill. So there was a moment that I was very economical in my graphics, and Mira became very busy and colorful.
Interesting.
So we kind of
that's cool.
So
yeah, you've molded into one.
Yes.
Into one.
And we never ever had any argument, or I'm sure there were moments that we had a little bit, but why are we going to get annoyed with each other? Let's just laugh about it and fix it, whatever the problem is.
The next question is from Molly.
Hi, MinaLima. I'd like to know what your wands would look like.
Excellent questions.
Oh, I don't know. I think I would bring lots of the Brazilian reference. Even the Pau Brazil, that is the name of Brazil, is because of this wood that was very
red.
Red.
Oh, wait. Oh, it's the MinaLima colour.
Okay.
So I would try to bring all my background from Brazil.
Okay.
We used to have this joke when we were working, like if you had your like desert island tools, just could only take like 3 of your favourite work tools, because this was before we used exclusively computers. What would they be? So I think maybe if I could encapsulate in my wand like a nib, a knife, or like maybe it would have like a root, like it would have markings, so it'd be like a sort of working, like a graphic designer's wand, and it would also be sort of symbolic of being able to do all those things with one tool.
All right, and the last question.
Hi, MinaLima. My name is Ali, and my question is, what was the most difficult design that you've ever created?
I think like designs like the Marauder's Map, the Daily Prophet were quite complex, because they were coming back and we have to tell
and also
the story.
they weren't described anywhere.
Yeah.
The Marauder's Map was described as a plain piece of parchment that then evolved into this kind of tool. So having to come up with the concept and illustrate it and make it, it's got these sort of 3 parts that you have to be thinking about all the time, so it's a very 3-dimensional process. Was probably the most difficult.
And creating the Daily Prophets and also all the publications from the magazine, the Cribblers, and even the books, we have to add so much text that was not given to us. That is part of our job as well, is to add much more text around. So for example, the Daily Prophet, we were given the main headline, but everything else is up to us to create.
Often the hardest things also end up being the most interesting.
Yes.
So, or they should be. It doesn't mean that because it's really difficult that you're going to just stop and give up. It's actually, those often end up being the design briefs that become the most interesting to work on.
And because as well that we could have done most of those things a little bit more simpler, but we didn't. We wanted to. How can we complicate even more the Daily Prophet? Like, let's add those staircases.
Yeah.
How can we make the Daily Prophet even more complex with all the other things that is inside that you don't see it, but the actors, when they are using it, they have all the pages inside, that they have articles, they have things, so it helps them as well.
There's a famous picture of Maggie Smith with the Daily Prophet in her hand, and she has this big smile and she's reading the Daily Prophet. All right, we're gonna play a little game. It's called How Well Do You Know Your Designs?
Oh.
So I'm going to show you pictures of your different designs zoomed in, and you have to see if you can identify them correctly. Okay.
Daily Prophet.
Daily Prophet.
The tiara.
Yes, the diadem.
Chocolate frog.
Chocolate frog. So, did you come up with that?
Yeah.
Finest Croco. How did that come about?
Well, again, like Eduardo was saying, for the Daily Prophets, you have to always be thinking about the copy and the text that's going to go on things. And if you look at any product that you go, if you just go into a drugstore tomorrow and look at there's so much copy on there. So when we're doing particularly packaging for anything, it's really important to kind of replicate that. And if you start to put just Latin or blah blah blah, it doesn't work. And if you're going to put something, you might as well put something that's going to make people smile or kind of be in the in the vernacular that is this kind of alternative reality.
Yeah.
So there's so much humour in Harry Potter. People forget that. So I think we needed to play to that as well with as much as we could, especially with the Weasleys.
The Dark Arts
book.
Yeah, Dark Arts book.
I love that book. Yeah.
And Nagini's
poster.
Yep. And last but not least,
The Magic of MinaLima.
Magic of MinaLima.
I'm enjoying this game.
You guys know your stuff, so that's great. Very impressive. So next up is a speed round. You're allowed to answer with one word or with one item. Favorite prop?
Marauder's map.
Daily Prophet.
Favorite color?
Red.
Green.
Your Hogwarts house?
Hufflepuff.
Ravenclaw.
Describe your style in one word.
Colorful.
Unconventional.
Oh, interesting. Bertie Bott's Every Flavor Beans or Chocolate Frog?
Chocolate Frog.
Bertie.
And favorite Wizarding World film to work on?
Prison of
Azkaban.
Azkaban.
So I have a few more fan questions to ask you. Eric asks, is there a moment in each Harry Potter book that you immediately know how you're going to bring to life in one of your illustrated editions? Philosopher's Stone or Chamber of Secrets that you, like, oh, I know exactly how this is going to come to life.
I think for me on the first book is that scene that became so beautiful in the film as well. But I think we did
I know what you're going to say.
justice as well.
Yeah.
When Hagrid and the kids are looking Hogwarts.
When they arrive on the boats.
And they have to give the little boat.
That's a beautiful illustration.
Yeah.
Eric also asks possibly a moment that you were excited about bringing to life. Prisoner of Azkaban?
Oh, what? He's trying to leave out of us. Okay, well, I could say from that point of view that maybe going into the Three Broomsticks is exciting. Yeah.
Fun.
And of course, we all know that the Marauder's map will be in that book.
Yeah.
So
that'll be fun.
I'll say more.
But I think for us, the biggest departure from what we're used to doing is having to think about worlds rather than details and props.
Yes.
Because of course we're having to think about the whole staging of a scene for the book.
Yeah.
You know, the costumes, the lighting, the surfaces, the colours. So all those things suddenly have to be considered, and we didn't really have that responsibility on the film. So
the illustrators that are working with us in this book, they are all Harry Potter fans, so they are so excited to also be able to be
to be a fly on the wall in that room would be amazing.
That room is fun.
You can come and be a fly in that.
I would love to be a fly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll apparate.
I'll apparate over
whenever you want.
The entire book now at the moment is on the wall.
Oh, fine.
So you can see the entire.
Okay.
So it is
Yeah, you mentioned when we talked. What were we talking about? Leonie asks, do you usually have something in mind before designing an item?
Well, we always do a lot of research before we consider what direction to go in. I mean, you showed us the dark arts book that Umbridge gives to the children. Mm-hmm. We knew in that instance, for example, that we wanted to demonstrate that she was patronising the children, giving them textbooks that were completely below their level of education. So we would amass reference material from children's books, but we thought actually the ones that were from the 50s, the sort of 40s and 50s illustrated children's books were very striking and playful as well. So from that point of view, we would know what kind of direction we're going in by virtue of getting the right reference material together. But I don't think we ever see the end thing in our heads. It's more just it evolves from having a very good starting point. So it's more the other way around. It's finding the key to unlock, and then it kind of grows.
And also you need to think a lot about the characters. Well, now if Snape has the potion book, all his annotations, how he did that, and we know that he was upset about Lily on that stuff, so he was very
how can we show his emotion?
Even Umbridge's as well room with all the books that she has in her drawer and all the paperwork that she was creating. So all those things you needed to really give those are the conversations that we have with David Yates.
Okay.
That kind of informs us, and also we inform him. So, David, we are doing this for Umbridge. So that kind of ping pong of information in the beginning is fantastic.
Okay.
But one thing as well that is so important on any of the props we do is the typeface. So to choosing the right typography and is so important, and also is the fun.
It can determine the personality, if you like, of a design. I think, and it's happening to us all the time. Decisions that you make about which brand of which restaurant you're going to go to, or what is quite often subliminally determined by a choice of typography, but we just most of the time we're not thinking about that. So we try to put ourselves kind of ahead of that and think, well, how can we encourage the audience to think, oh yeah, this is something of value, or this is something. If it was Rita Skeeter's book, we deliberately chose very sort of trashy looking style of typography and finish and everything. So you're always trying to drive the audience's emotions and responses to situations, because you can have those responses to design, and people just don't think that you can, but it turns out you can.
Yeah, I've never thought about that. That's absolutely true. Yeah. Incredible.
And I think we said once, Naomi, that we don't choose the type, we cast the typeface.
So for us, they kind of have souls.
Yeah.
Huh. Love that. I love that. Ben asks, is there anything that you designed that didn't make it into the final cut of one of the films?
A lot. And in fact, that's what having House of MinaLima has been so brilliant, because we've been able to exhibit and show so much of the work that kind of was nearly there, but it was either didn't make it into the final cut, or just off camera. Or
like for example, the Weasley shop. I remember we spent like months and months, and there were loads of people. We had 6 assistants helping us, and the scene is 1 minute and 17 or something.
Which is quite long for film.
You miss so many things that we created, and also Honeydukes as well.
And even
the way that the film showed Honeydukes was just that exit, not that Harry goes to Hogsmeade.
Flourish and Blots, all those books all had to have spines. You know, it's the sum of the parts, because you still need to do everything so that you're building the world. That's
the number one lesson, that don't be attached, because again, it needs to be the right thing for the story. If the story needs just 1 minute, that is fine. That is what needs to happen.
Were you able to bring some of those designs into like the Wizarding World, Harry Potter theme park?
Yes, in Universal as well. Yeah, we could bring all those things back again. Yeah.
You know, it's just. I wish I could jump into the film and just explore Weasley's, because it just. Quick little pan. It's like, no, wait, but I want to see this and I want to see that.
Yeah.
So again, with this book, I hope people will be able to see even more, much more.
Yes, to answer that question.
So especially the Weasley, there's a nice section about the Weasley.
I saw that. So last question is not really a question, from Kathy. She says, not a question, but thank you for bringing so much beauty into this world. Your art brings me joy.
Oh.
Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, no, I love what Kathy said. What are some positive things that fans have said to you that have stuck with you?
I think the idea that has been shared with us, that in fact when we launched the book yesterday in our shop in London, someone came in and quite emotionally said, you know, I started studying graphic design because I was inspired. I guess the Venn diagram of being a Harry Potter fan and maybe being interested in design, and then just sort of finding that actually there were 2 people that made a profession out of that, then it's sort of, if we know that someone has been inspired to start a career or studies in graphic design, that's really, you know, if we can change one person, that's fantastic, and if it's more, it's even better. And so I think when things are meaningful to other people, then beyond just like, oh, that's a cool film, that's very special for us, and it will never go away, that joy.
It is very special when they say, I'm a graphic designer because of you, and that is fantastic.
It's the best compliment you can receive. Yeah.
And I also know that people say to us as well that thank you so much for making my childhood more fun and exciting. So again,
bringing the Wizarding World to life, I think that's a kind of phrase that sticks with me.
Yeah. And final question, what inspires you to create?
I think storytelling. I think, you know, if there's a good story, then and a story could be just us kind of walking together down the road and seeing some like absurd thing that happens, like, oh, that would be a good thing to then illustrate. Could we make that into a story, into a book, and then a character evolves? And you know, there's stories everywhere all the time if you've got your eyes open. So I think those are the things that inspire us. Yeah.
Where can people find your book?
At any House of MinaLima in those 4 destinations that you said, and at MinaLima.com.
Where you can get signed copies.
Yes, so our ones are signed.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank
you. Absolute honor.
So the signing event has just begun, and MinaLima fans are starting to enter Harry Potter New York to line up for the book signing. I have some prizes. I'm going to ask some people MinaLima questions, and if they get them right, they're going to get a prize. I'm going to show you a zoomed-in photo, and you have to tell me the prop.
Okay.
Designed by MinaLima.
Oh boy.
That this is.
Okay. A chocolate frog.
Chocolate frog. You got it. And you won a chocolate frog card.
Thank you.
By MinaLima. Do you want to play a little game to win a prize?
the Daily Prophet.
Yeah! Good job.
What you got?
You won a Daily Prophet card by MinaLima.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That means you're and I really like it.
First, I ask the question all Brazilians want to know: when we have a MinaLima store in Brazil, hopefully coming soon.
Yeah.
We're very excited about it.
Beautiful.
And my name is over here. Cool. So nice to meet them.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a picture of a MinaLima prop. Now it's a zoomed in photo.
Okay. Let's see if we can do it.
Could it be it's the diadem. Totally the diadem.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That's so awesome.
So people are being let in 3 different time groups. So the first group is done and signed, and the second group is lining up and ready to meet MinaLima.
This was the one movie that really made me think I could do this. Like this could be an actual job and career for me.
Oh, that's the Quibbler.
That's the Quibbler.
That's so cool, thank you. Dark Arts.
Dark Arts.
Yeah.
Defense of the Dark Art books that she changed. Great, yeah.
That's so red in my face.
We got her book, so can't wait to get it signed. This one I still have it in the plastic. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get this one signed too.
Look at this. Excited. Look at this. I cannot wait till they make the entire series of this.
When I have kids, this is the versions I'm giving them.
So nice to meet with them and talk with them.
Yeah,
Get acquainted with them. It's a very, very nice experience.
They are probably the sweetest souls I've ever met. They're very warm and inviting.
It's just like really cool to meet the people that did all the artwork. Like they designed the letter. So I got both of them signed.
Look, that's my name. That's me. And that is a blessing right there.
Well, the event just ended, the signing just ended. As you saw, the staff at Harry Potter New York met MinaLima as well. So much fun energy, so much excitement, and shared love for Harry Potter. Guys, this book, as I mentioned earlier, is packed with magic, the magic of MinaLima. Check the description down below for links to show you where you can purchase this book. If you have any questions about Harry Potter or collecting, feel free to leave a comment down below. You can also join the Potter Collector community on Instagram at The Potter Collector or on Twitter at Potter Collector. Now it's time to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, keep collecting! Thank you so much for watching, and if you're new here, welcome! We cover all things Harry Potter on the Potter Collector channel, like books, merchandise reviews, unboxings, Wizarding World of Harry Potter videos, and more. If you would like to subscribe, you can click right here. You can also check out a previously posted video right around here. If you have any questions about Harry Potter, feel free to leave a comment down below. I am happy to help. But for now, I must go. We'll see you next time.
Whoa, where'd he go?